Oliva from the Cape Cod Canal Region Chamber of Commerce, located in beautiful downtown Buzzards Bay in the historic railroad station building that we just had renovated by the state. They completely redid the roof with Spanish tiles, and it looks wonderful, and we're happy to be in there with our office and visitor center. So I just want to make a couple of announcements. We have Morning Business Connections on April 24th at the Sagamore Visitor Center, which is a beautiful center. So if any of you want to come down and visit us at 8:30 in the morning, we'll have some refreshments, and some businesses will be there, and you can learn about the center and how we operate. And let's not forget about Cape Cod Canal Day on September 21st. We do have a rain date this year on September 22nd at Buzzards Bay Park, so mark your calendar for that. So guess who we have here today? An esteemed guest. We'll call him Stephen X for Xiarhos, and you're our state representatives. Tell me about the district that you represent.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you for having me, first of all.
You're welcome.
I represent the 5th Barnstable District, and it's an honor to do that. I'm blessed to do it. That's 45,000 people, which consists of parts of Barnstable, all of Sandwich, and half of Bourne.
Right. Now, what half of Bourne? Explain the villages in Bourne.
Yes, Buzzards Bay, which is where you're at, and it's beautiful, and I love it down there. Mass Maritime, that whole area. Sagamore Beach.
Yep, that's where I live.
Yes, so all that area, which is like a hidden jewel. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Sagamore, over the bridge.
Yeah.
And also there's a section off of Clay Pond Road, like a small section around there.
Really?
Yes.
Who gerrymandered this?
Somebody did years ago. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But I love it all.
Oh, good, good. I appreciate that. So tell us a little bit about the Canine Blood Drive that's coming up, and you can explain here.
Yes.
With, the pups, and that's coming up, and we want to know about that. And,
yeah, right here in the town of Bourne, 6 years ago, you helped save Canine Nero, and that's part of my story. I was a Yarmouth police officer 6 years ago on April 12th, 2018. My officer, my brother, was shot and killed, Sean Gannon. And part of that horrible day was the shooting of Nero, our police dog. And no one was allowed to help it. It was against the law. So that's why I left the job that I love, ran for office, and very fortunate to have won. And what we're doing is in Sean's memory and in Nero's honor, who lived. He still has the bullet in him, but he lived. He was saved by the veterinarians.
I didn't know he still had a bullet in him.
Yes, the bullet went through his head,
his
his trachea, his esophagus, and shoulder. But he lived, and he was saved by the doctors and the staff at Bourne Veterinary Specialists underneath the bridge. And in their honor, and Sean and Nero, we do a blood drive on the day. So this Friday on April 12th, 6 years to the day, we do a blood drive at Bourne Police Headquarters from 10 to 2, where people bring their dogs, and the dogs get screened to donate dog blood in case there's an emergency, like with Nero. Nero was saved by some other dog's blood. So in Sean's memory, and we try to turn a horrible incident into something good. We've made Nero's Law, which now allows the EMTs and the paramedics to save a dog and put it in an ambulance. We built the Sean Gannon Training Center at Yarmouth Police Headquarters by selling these little pups.
Tell me about that, how that works.
Yeah, when Sean was killed, my fiance Denise, who was part of his nurse, she's a nurse, she was there, that everybody tried to save him, but we couldn't at Cape Cod Healthcare. They tried their best, and they're still devastated.
Of course.
But we made these, and we've sold 20 ever since that day. So many, they cost $20 a piece. All the money goes to pay for the training center, and we've sold about 5,000.
And the training center is in Yarmouth?
Yes, it was Sean's vision. He said to me, Deputy, what if we built something where we could train our dogs? Instead of going somewhere else, we could do it right here.
Right, that's wonderful.
And we had the land, but we didn't have the money or the building. And then when Sean was murdered, we said we're going to do it. And we sold these, and we sold T-shirts and wristbands, and they're all over the world. And we built this beautiful building where police and dogs come and train. It's called the Sean Gannon Training Center.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
wonderful.
on April 12th, it's a big day for all of us. Part of it will be a blood drive for dogs
Right.
when they're needed. And people love the idea.
Of course.
Yeah,
It's a wonderful.
it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's ever happened anywhere else in the country.
Yeah.
We did it last year. It was amazing.
Yeah.
People came with their dogs, and sometimes people came by themselves thinking they were going to give blood.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and I said, no, this is for dogs.
That's a funny story.
It is. And I could see how it happens because no one's used to bringing their dog to give blood.
Of course.
But we're doing it, and that's the town of Bourne, the
Right.
Bourne police, the
Wow.
vets.
It's awesome.
We've turned a
Big
tragedy.
collaboration.
It is, and it's special, and it's Sean's mom and dad will be there. And
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's a
nice.
way
Oh,
that
boy,
we
that's-
remember them and do good things in their memory.
Well, you've done a lot to help with this story, and very sad story with the families and everything. So we all appreciate that. It's a
My
big
honor.
deal.
It
Yeah,
is.
that's
It
a
is.
big deal.
And when you make a law, it's pretty special.
And you really made that happen. You were the one that went after this with passion.
Yes,
You
that
know?
was my promise to Sean's mother and father.
Yes. Oh,
And we did it.
right.
And it's not just me; it's the whole it's the
Yes, it is,
delegation,
but-
it's everybody.
yes.
But no, that was my mission, and it's
Right.
not done. We've gone to Rhode
Other
Island.
states, right?
Yeah,
Was Connecticut involved
we
with
passed
that?
it in Rhode Island,
You
New
did?
Hampshire, and Connecticut is
Oh,
pending.
wow, that's
yeah.
awesome.
I go with Sean's mother and father.
Oh,
And
really?
we go
To
to
the
s-
legislature
to the
in
state
those-
houses in these countries, in these
States.
states,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we tell the story.
Wow. That's a wonderful story. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So let's get to some legislation. Is there anything that you're working on that you want to bring up in terms of educating the
Oh, my
constituency?
Lord, there's so
I
many
know there's a
things.
lot.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the governor's budget. I understand that there's a lot in there, and they're doing a lot for economic development, which is wonderful for the business community. But the business community is a little bit concerned with some of the proposed taxes that are coming out for meals tax, lodging tax, excise tax, minimum wage going to $20. I think there's just a concern that that's really going to hurt the business community. You know, they struggle. Most of our businesses are small businesses.
That's right.
And we need to support them for jobs, and they have a hard time finding labor. And the last thing you want is to be able to increase lodging and meals tax for that. Now, I understand the municipality has to approve that, so they're saying, oh, well, you can approve this, but each town has to approve the particular tax that's being. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line with me, I
Yeah.
think we pay enough taxes.
Yeah.
You know, it's an honor to serve. I
Yes.
serve 45,000 people, but it's part of 8 million in the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
And I really think we pay enough taxes. We have
Yeah.
to be wise with the money that we spend. So this part of her budget, which remember, our state budget is about $58 billion for 1 year. And I'm on the Ways and Means Committee.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, which is a
That's
very
an important
powerful.
committee.
It's very important. I get to travel all over the Commonwealth. I love it,
Nice.
and you get to hear the needs, and it's
good.
it's good and it's sad. There's so many needs,
I bet.
right?
Can't do
But
everything.
to tax more, I think, is wrong. So
Yeah.
yes, part of her plan is to leave it up to the towns to see if
Right.
they want to raise
So we have to
that.
deal with the town, say, of Bourne, to express our concerns about this.
Yeah,
so.
because you're right. Small business runs this country. I do
Yes, they
something
do.
every Saturday. I visit a small business.
I know it.
Yeah,
I
and
see it on Facebook.
Yes, and I try to promote the business and meet
Yeah.
the owners, and they work so hard. And So that's why where our money goes is so special. We should be helping as many people as we can, but to put it on the back of business owners or motels or restaurants,
Right.
I think we do enough of that. And another issue is the whole immigration issue that touched the town of Bourne,
Yes.
and all the cities and towns in the Commonwealth. We're spending $75 million a month on that. That's not budgeted, so that has to
Yeah.
be fixed. That's a big
Did you
issue.
say a month?
A month.
Okay.
So 75 million
It is-
per month is
yeah.
going into the immigration crisis in the
Right.
Commonwealth, which is, we've spent $1 billion so far, and the governor is asking for another $1 billion. And as
Is this to house?
it's to house, to
mostly
feed,
everything?
and because
What about
of
work permits? Can they? A lot of immigrants want to work. They're here. Can we get them work permits to help the businesses that are in the area?
I believe they should be here legally.
Yes, I
and
know, yeah.
But those that are here, there's a plan for that. That's the governor is working on that.
Yeah.
It starts with the federal government.
Right, of course.
Yes, but right here in our own community, it does affect us because the cost of maintaining this is massive.
Yeah.
And
I didn't realize it was that much.
it's that much a month. That's not budgeted for. So
Yeah.
we're doing the best we can,
Right.
but I have a bill that would amend this. Remember, we are the only state that does this. Out of 50 states, we're a right to shelter state.
Yeah.
Which is a law that was passed in 1983. So I have a bill that says we should look at that law and have hearings on it to decide, is it for everybody in the whole world or is it for Massachusetts people?
Right.
And we should have a hearing on that to discuss it. And I
Fair
hope
enough.
we can, yes.
Right,
But
good.
when it comes to taxes, and tolls, right? We have our beautiful bridges.
I know. That was
which-
a big deal. It was all over the paper.
Yeah.
I believe there was a TV show on the record, and I don't know if it
That's right.
the guest.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember who the guest was.
Yeah.
But whoever it was said that they weren't going to rule out.
Yes.
I go, oh my God, okay, what's going on? But some individuals that contacted me were talking about the booths. And I go, no, there's not going to be any toll booths. How it works is there's a camera and they
Right.
send you a bill or whatever.
Right.
But
and that's something
ahead.
that's we have to replace our bridges.
Yes.
The town of Bourne is unique
Yes.
in many ways. I love it, but I don't know of any other small town that has 3 federal bridges and a federal canal.
Right.
It's really something. So to
Right.
deal with all that is a lot on a small town.
Right.
That's why the federal government needs to step up and
They
get those
do.
bridges replaced, and we're working on that. But to think that there could be a toll,
Right.
I'm against that.
Right,
Again, I
right.
think we pay enough.
we can communicate that to the powers to be up at the federal level.
Yeah,
To let them know.
let's
that-
get it done,
Yeah.
but let's use our money wisely.
Right.
And
Well, the Infrastructure Act is supposed to help pay. I know we don't have quite enough money to go forward, and we're still working with our legislators
Yes.
up at the federal level to help us get that money
Yes.
so that we can continue. I mean, the thing is that everything's kind of on hold until we find out all the money. I mean, I know MassDOT is coming up with possible designs, assuming that we're going to be getting this funding.
Yes, and this has been talked about for years,
I know
right?
it, I
But
know it.
this is my district, and
Yes.
I want to make sure we get it done, and we get it done properly and as soon as we can, because it's going to be a massive project and a big strain on Bourne.
It will be.
Right.
The mitigation is really got to
Yes,
come
look
through.
what happens when we work on the bridges.
I know it. I know,
We're
it's gonna be
spending
tough.
millions to keep them safe.
Right.
And we should.
Right.
But at some point, we've got to replace them and
Right.
do it
Well,
right.
the argument for the bridges is that almost every year one of the bridges is being worked on
Yes.
for maintenance and for public safety
Yes.
because they're functionally obsolete.
Yes.
So we have to take a look at that, and I think people should know that they chose the Sagamore Bridge because that's more travel than the Bourne Bridge, but that we weren't going to be able to get funding for both bridges at once, so they chose the Sagamore Bridge to do it.
Yes.
And the Bourne Bridge eventually is going to have to be done too. So it really talking a lot of infusion of cash to help with these bridges.
They call it a project of a lifetime.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
true. It's really something. So we're in the middle of all that as
Yeah.
your state rep. I attend meetings with federal people and state
Yes.
people and local, keep
Yeah.
everybody informed. But we've got to, it's really, to me, one of our top priorities, if not the top.
Yes.
Because if those bridges don't operate,
Right.
it shuts down the whole Cape and islands.
Right.
The whole business community suffers, and public safety.
Right.
And you said they're functionally obsolete. It's true.
Yeah.
They're too narrow, right? They were
Oh my
designed in the
God.
1920s.
I never use the passing lane when I'm going over
Yeah,
the
a
bridge.
lot of people tell me, Steve, we're afraid to go over it because when you think about it, you're about 6 to 8 inches from a head-on collision
Yeah.
or hitting the curb.
I know it.
So it's
true.
tough.
And
We've-
there's been a lot of accidents
Yes.
on the bridges
And
lately.
remember, when there is one, it closes the
It
bridge.
does.
So the new bridges are so different. They're so wide. If they, you know.
Yeah, and
if-
they have acceleration
Yeah,
and
it's
deceleration
really
lanes,
special.
bicycle lanes.
Yes, and if there was a accident, you can still function. There's room.
Right.
So we've got to get it done, and that's part of my mission. And
good.
there's so many reasons for that, but I think we can get it done without tolls.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We've got your position on that.
Yes.
You don't vacillate, do you? You just, this is the way I feel.
Well, I listen to a
That's
lot of
good.
people. We
You
listen.
do. You listen to a lot of people,
And
yeah.
and at some point you just make your decision, and I go with my heart.
Oh, that's good. That's good. How about something else that you would like to bring up?
There's so
You know,
many things.
There's so many things in the legislature.
And I love it. And I think part of
Yeah.
that would be, remember, that's the people's house, the
Yes.
State House. It's so
Yes.
beautiful. It's like a
Yes.
museum. Every part of our Massachusetts and American history is in the building. So I would make sure people come and visit. It's open to the public.
do.
It's
You-
free.
yes.
And if anybody out there would love to come in, and I get to show you around, and you could, if the governor's there, you meet the governor and her team, and you see how America works, you know, and it's really special. And I love it. I'm
I
fascinated
know
by
it.
it.
You really love your job.
I do, and it's a lot because there's so many needs. I think one thing that people don't realize is how many people reach out for help. So we make budgets, we make laws or not.
Yeah.
There's so much to that.
Right.
But about 80% is the people coming to me for help. And it's every day, it's constant. It can be for housing, it can be for food, it can be for something to do with a crosswalk.
And you do a
It's-
lot of constituent services.
That's
I think one of the
huge,
most important thing that a state representative can do is to work with the community and their constituents that have problems.
Yes.
And there's so many issues out there, and not everybody does that. But you really work with the locals.
Yes.
To help in many different ways, whether somebody's homeless, right? I think you
Yes,
helped a
I'll-
homeless individual.
I'll
one
never
time.
forget, yeah. We
Yeah.
have 41 families living in the woods at
Yeah.
Shawnee
At
Kroll
Shawnee
in
Kroll,
Sandwich,
yeah, yeah.
a state forest. There's a lack of housing. So these people in the summer, they pay to rent a campsite, 41 different families that work, but they have no place to live.
Right.
So they live in tents or motorhomes, and you know, when people reach out, I want to see them. I call it boots on the ground. So I
Yes.
go and visit, and I talk to
Yes.
them, and the bridges, I stand on the bridge and I talk to the workers, and it's important for me to see and feel what I think how people live, and part of it comes from being a police officer. That's what we do. We help people. And, you know, losing Sean Gannon and losing my own son in war. You
Right.
know,
You
it's-
are a Gold Star family.
Yes, which means we lost a loved one in war.
Yes, of
And
course.
my son rests at age 21 at the National Cemetery in Bourne.
Yeah.
So we try to take tragedies and turn them into something
To
good.
learn from them
Yes.
if you can, although it must be very difficult.
It's very difficult,
Yeah.
but I try my best to
Yes,
help
you do.
everybody. And but it's the people. I love the people part of this job.
You know, with the Chamber of Commerce, I really believe that we need to give back to the community. It's just not about businesses. It's important to have a healthy business climate, but I think you've got to give back and work with people and help people, and then it comes back to help you.
Absolutely,
You know,
yeah.
so it's really important to to give back, and a lot of businesses give back to
They
the community.
do.
They support all the sporting events and nonprofit organizations. They
Yes.
support the chamber because we are a nonprofit organization. We raise our own funding to make the world go round.
That's
right.
right. And
Yeah.
most of those businesses are small businesses.
They are,
Right? And they're
yes.
giving back to their community. And that's kind of what I try to do. And as a state rep and as a Gold Star family, we really try our best to help others. And I have a saying, live worthy. We need to live worthy of the sacrifices made for us, for our freedom. So when we live worthy, we give back and we serve.
Right.
And we help others, we help animals. And that's why we raise blood at a blood
There you
drive.
go, back to the canine
Yeah,
blood
it's really
drive.
something how
Is this something unusual, or is that something that
I've never heard of it anywhere in the country.
are we the only ones that are doing it?
Yeah, we're the only ones in the Commonwealth that do
Oh,
a canine blood
really?
drive, and we could be the only ones in America.
Wow.
And that's thanks to these wonderful veterinarians
Yes.
and their team
That's Cape Cod Veterinary Specialist.
right underneath the
located on
Bourne
the
Bridge.
Bourne Bridge.
Yes,
Yep,
talking
yep.
about the bridge.
Yeah, right,
And Bourne Police Chief Aesop, officer, with Callie, the little pup.
Yeah.
Right, they're all going to be.
They have a new dog.
Yes,
right?
which
yeah.
is from Freedom Labradors, which
Yeah.
is in
Oh,
Sandwich.
cute.
It's just amazing the connections.
Yeah, there is.
But on
connections.
Friday, on April 12th, from 10 to 2, just come, bring your dog.
Oh,
We'll
awesome.
have, treats, and they'll be screened to give blood in case there was ever an emergency where we needed blood for an animal, and we would do it and save a life.
Awesome. That's awesome. Any final last words?
I think it's important just to keep doing this.
Okay.
Yeah, keep
Yeah.
talking, keep knowing each other, reach out.
Right.
We do so many things. I have coffee with your rep
Yes.
on the first Friday every
Yes.
month,
Yeah.
at a different location.
Where are the locations that you have them?
Everywhere, all over the
Oh, all
district.
over.
Yeah,
Okay.
it has to be a small business,
Oh, okay.
and it has to be a different one.
so you don't meet at the community buildings or anything.
No,
You meet at the small businesses.
right? Like last
Oh,
one was
nice.
at Marshland in Sandwich.
Okay, awesome.
We get people to come in, they ask questions, we have coffee, and we help promote the business.
Awesome. Yeah. So you could.
We've been to Leo's, we've been to like just about every place, and we
Right.
just keep doing it, and I love that part.
Yeah.
So I guess the message would be, come to me if you need help.
Okay.
Trust in me, and follow me if you can on social media.
All right.
We do weekly reports, we
I
do
see
monthly
that.
reports.
Yes.
And we
Social
work
media is
together.
important to get the word out.
I think
though.
so.
I mean, I
think
know
so.
there are some disadvantages, and I understand that, but we have a chamber Facebook page, and I share them to the Bourne page, the Wareham page, the Plymouth page, the Sandwich page, because each town has a Facebook page.
Yes.
So we like to just pass the word along, and that's how we get our events out. So have
Absolutely.
to use social media.
And I follow you and your
Yes,
team.
and I follow you.
And one other thing that came up was we do a lot of beach cleanups. So
Yes.
we'll show up and help clean a beach or a park.
Nice.
And the other day I did a little post, and all of a sudden a gentleman and like 5 of his kids came.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they said, Rep X, we saw your post,
Oh,
and
that's
we brought our
awesome.
kids, and
There
we're
we
out
go.
cleaning the beach.
That's a
Yeah.
good example.
Yes, of the community working together.
Right.
It's not really all about politics. It's about
Right, that's
service.
right. It's about serving.
It's serving.
Awesome. That's the final last word. Such a wonderful pleasure to interview you. I
Amen.
appreciate it.
Right
Thank
back
you
at
so
you.
much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, everybody.